Ladies and gentlemen, after an action-packed weekend, the Mega Powers are back for another edition of On the Money podcast here live Wednesday night from the On the Money Sports Lounge, hanging out for another episode, breaking down everything going down in the world of sports. Big weekend behind us, a few big weeks ahead of us as we are now headed into round 2 of the NBA playoffs. We've got baseball every single day, a whole slate of action all day long today, plus like 6 or 7 games going on as we speak. Knicks versus the Celtics, and the Kingpins Dynasty rookie draft on Sunday finally went down. Lineups are set for now. We will discuss all of that and more. But before we get into all that good stuff, as always, per usual, beside me, none other than the one and only, ready to talk about the talk of the day, the news of the day, the trade of the day, Mr. Steeler Depot himself, Oscar O. Money Muniz.
Ladies and gentlemen, what is going on? It is a fine afternoon. I'm sorry that we're starting a little late. I need to start writing down what my passwords are to all these programs.
Technical difficulties.
Because, again, this thing logs me out, and I have so many passwords that it's hard to remember. I need to start writing this stuff down.
Keep resetting. I tend to keep resetting sometimes some of the passwords. I sometimes still get locked out of my Hulu password. And then, you could just start making your password all the same thing.
So,
which is the safest thing. But
that's all taken care of. We are good to go. We are On the Money Sports. We are here live on a hump day. 2 days away from the weekend, but right there for you to catch all the action-packed information that we have had. Today started out with a banger. The Dallas Cowboys have now received, finally, they have answered our calls from last week when we said who would be wide receiver 2.
We were shitting on the Cowboys last week.
A lot of us thought it was going to be Amari Cooper, and here it was all along. It was George Crash Out Pickens, who has been dealt from the Pittsburgh Steelers for a third-round pick. Not to mention, the Steelers will also swap out their 6th-rounder for a 5th-rounder from the Cowboys. So the Cowboys get a crash-out man in George Pickens and a 6th-round pick.
They get a, second option besides CeeDee Lamb.
A wide receiver,
too. Yeah, they get a wide receiver.
He was never a wide receiver 1.
You already know how I felt about George Pickens to this point in time. I was already off that wagon a while ago. But, this is a move that makes sense for Dallas. We were bashing them pretty hard on this podcast last week. I almost thought to myself, maybe I'll get on the podcast this week and apologize to the Dallas faithful. But before I do all that, I think I'd rather just kind of get just a vibe check as far as how Cowboys fans are feeling. I'm sitting next to the Steelers.
Me and Matt chose a bad night to go to the movies, but we watched Thunderbolts and not the new Avengers because that's what we paid for.
You did? All right, no spoilers.
What about a horrible...
Heather and I are going on Friday after work.
Horrible marketing ploy.
So definitely looking forward to that. Somebody told me that this movie is going to hit hard, like on that Guardians of the Galaxy 3 type level. So I'm all for that. Friday I'm going to go. And then
I'm waiting for Disney Plus.
I'll respect the code myself after I watch it. I'll respect the code. I won't talk about it unless I'm talking to somebody who's seen it. And I won't be dropping any spoilers on this podcast until you guys let me know that we're ready to talk about it. And then we can start throwing, conspiracy theories and shit like that out there. You got guys like Andrew that haven't even seen Loki yet. He hasn't seen Loki, bro. Keep trying to get
1 or 2.
He hasn't seen any of it. Yeah, he hasn't seen any of it. So he can't even watch Thunderbolts right now until you watch the other stuff.
Wow.
But Mike D checking in. First name checking into the comment section for tonight's podcast. As we just getting started here, just getting warmed up. Kick back, relax, grab yourself a cold beverage or a hot one like I needed. It was a long day.
Dallas faithful think they're back.
Do they?
They think they them boys again.
Are they just relieved to see their team do something? Like,
I will say it's going to be an exciting offense.
Have they been deprived?
If George Pickens is a talented receiver, has an amazing catch radius, but if George Pickens isn't the focal point, he loses interest. And there's a lot of plays that I ignored over the last couple of years because of, I ignored a lot of his behaviors because of the talented guy that he is. But when you go back and you look at it, like some of his antics were really like he wasn't a team player.
You had the Steelers blinders on, bro. We get it.
He fought. He was ready to fight the Dallas cornerback Lewis, who's not there no more. He went to. He also tweeted out today when the news broke that Dallas traded for him. He goes, "Looks like I got to Jacksonville just in time." He grabbing his face mask at the end of the game, almost fighting a fan in the Cleveland Browns stadium at the end of that snowball game.
You know how many people there are in that crowd, and you're literally singling out one.
He was trying to fight fans in Pittsburgh.
That trade was all right. That's how I feel about it, Mike. It was all right. I mean, good for Dallas. I guess the Steelers.
I will say this:
get a headache out of the building.
It should. If they did, whether any,
he just now you don't have a wide receiver too.
You're right. That's I'll get to that in a second, but I want to concentrate on the Dallas side of things. Offensively, they're going to be able to do things now with their wide receivers they couldn't do the previous 2 years. Teams aren't going to be able to load the box up. They're not going to be able to put 8 men in the box to stop the run because now you have to worry about the speed of Pickens and the speed of Lamb, who can go over the top and take a pass, 50, 60 yards to a touchdown. Where now, this actually helps out the Dallas running backs, whoever comes out of that backfield start. I think this, of all, helps Javonte Williams out a lot. I think Javonte is going to benefit the most because guess what? Javonte can do what the other two can't really well, and that's catch the ball out of the backfield.
Nobody's loading the box for Javonte Williams, though. In fairness.
The
passing game is going to be more of a focus.
I've already said I think he has a bounce back year. So, I'm not saying he's going to have this 1,600 yard year, but if Javonte Williams can give you 800 yards rushing and 600 yards receiving, that's a pretty good year for him.
Well, part of the advantage he has is the fact that you're going to be focused on the pass game and not the run game.
Yeah.
So
even Miles Sanders can get some burn. It's
4-man front.
3 years ago, Miles Sanders was an unbelievable running back who was ripping and roaring and taking the Eagles to the championship, to the Super Bowl.
Oh, they got Sanders now too, right?
Yeah, and now you got the rookie who could give you something.
That's a muddled mess.
One of these running backs is going to come out of this in real good shape because
what's up, Chris?
You can't crowd the box.
Wonder if Pickens will punch Dak for not throwing to him enough. That's going to be interesting to see how they deal with that side of Pickens when he snaps.
It's going to happen. The crash out's going to happen.
Snap at some point.
And, people talk about, the Steelers would have probably never went out, acquired DK, and signed DK to that contract if he just was more professional last season. It was his opportunity to be a mature player, go out and ball, and you would have gotten the contract extension, but you didn't. You got worse as the year went on.
That signing was telling as far as what was to come.
And it's been there, ever since. I've been ignoring his behavior since we beat the Titans that Thursday night game, and he wipes the whole Steelers off his Instagram, his Twitter, and he's upset, blah, blah, blah.
He's fighting Browns fans. He better be ready to square up for real in Philly. They'll jump his ass. Yeah, that's going to be crazy.
So he's got a lot to prove. An interesting stat, every single wide receiver that's ever been traded by the Pittsburgh Steelers has not gone on to be a Pro Bowl player. It's like they know when it's time to get rid.
Well, they let it play out for a little bit before they actually get rid of them. There's a history there. Remember Artavius Bryant? It's one of the many names of just wide receivers that can't.
They got themselves. AB. They traded AB right before, and AB was never the same after that. Really
went to the Super Bowl,
but he wasn't a starter on that team. Chris Godwin and Mike Evans were the starters.
Yeah. Wasn't that AB? Yeah,
he was the third option. No, he was the fourth option because the third option was Gronk.
Yeah. Still, though, had a pretty solid year.
Juju Smith-Schuster was never good after he left Pittsburgh. Santonio Holmes. The list goes on.
Santonio ended up going to the Jets. After
he got traded to the Jets for a fifth-round pick.
Mark Sanchez, that's when he was with that group?
Yeah. Okay. Sanchez and who was the other? Oh, Braylon Edwards. It's a name
Well,
you
they
don't
went
hear
to
of.
back-to-back AFC championships. That was pretty. It's not his fault, you know.
He was there for the.
They were.
He went to the second one.
Okay. All right. Got you. You think the trade also telling for a bigger move, like a QB finally making his decision finally?
Well, the
the man coming out of the darkness.
The new rumor is the man coming out of the darkness is waiting for the schedule to get released.
Like all of
that's
us.
one.
That's awesome. So are we, bro. May
14th. He wants to make. He doesn't want to play a lot of primetime games immediately. He feels as though if he announces he's going to play for Pittsburgh, the schedule makers are going to like try to throw, which is possible because he's a big name. It's a big market team. Whenever that team plays, you know, whether the Steelers are bad or good, the Steelers fans tune in. The ratings are going to be there. So maybe to him, it's like, you know, that's the conspiracy. Do I think that's what he's doing? Probably not. But that's what Mike Florio floated out there today when he called into the 97.3 fan today in Pittsburgh and told the Pony and Muller that he believes that one of his things is he's waiting for the schedulers to make sure he's not facing all these primetime games early.
I'm surprised Jerry woke up to make that phone call. You think he handled that deal? I know he knew about it, right? He knew about it, but like, do you think like who actually was the adult in the room?
It's more about what that defense is going to really do too on this end, because their defense was atrocious last year. It was very bad.
They got to play
offensively. They're going to be a lot better. They're getting Dak Prescott back. You have a number 2. Like CD is going to have more opportunities he's had in a while.
They got to pay Parsons. Like, are they going to pay Pickens?
No, I don't think Pickens is getting paid.
So Pickens is just there for a year, right?
Pretty much.
So it's a prove-it year for him to be able to go back out into the wide receiver market and potentially get himself the wide receiver money based on his performance.
The Dallas Cowboys need him to ball out so that comp. So here's the thing. Yeah, they'll get a pick back, compensatory pick for him when he leaves, but they're not going to get that comp pick till 2027. It's not going to be next year's draft pick. So they're going to have to wait for that. So they need him to ball out. If he balls out, signs a big deal, they'll get a third. But if he balls out and gets like a 2-year, $40 million, it's going to just be a 4th rounder.
What do you think he's going to do? Because Noli thinks Cowboys are going to be a top 5 to 7.
I don't know, because we also don't know what this offensive coordinator, who's never had success running a successful offense in this league ever. Brian Schottenheimer has been in like 10 different OC jobs in his career. We don't know what we're getting with this Dallas team. We don't. But
we know they have
this move helps out CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah, takes
a
pressure
lot
off him. They didn't feel good.
I also think what's going to happen in fantasy football, a lot of people are going to reach for Pickens in early rounds. I really do. They're going to be, it's matchup proof. Dak Prescott, No.
You think it best. I mean, I like the move for Dallas. I'm not a big George Pickens guy.
There was too.
But at the end of the day, like I've been saying, he's a wide receiver too. And now he gets to fill the shoes that he was meant to walk in as a wide receiver too, being alongside CeeDee Lamb with Dak Prescott, who's going to get him the ball. It means good things for Ferguson. I agree with you that it could mean good things for the running game because the running game is not going to be the focal point for this team. The defenses are going to be zeroed in. Yeah, defenses are going to be zeroed in on the passing game. You're not loading the box up. So, Javonte, Blue, their running back committee can, do some damage, down the middle of the field. And now we're talking about from last week, a team that we said to ourselves is not even going to make the playoffs to now a Dallas team that could win, 9-10 football games. And I don't know about winning the division. We still have a lot of time before we get that far and make those predictions, but definitely a better outlook for them. And for you guys on the flip side of the coin, now you got a big hole to fill as far as who that second receiver is going to be. We know you got Freiermuth. We know you drafted the running back.
I heard all that last year.
But now it's who's actually there.
I will say this.
Roman Wilson, Robbie
Regardless, DK Metcalf is still light years ahead of George Pickens.
Right. But now it's on the other side of him.
He's an authentic number one who's been an authentic number one in his system.
You're getting an 8 and 9 Dallas team.
Oh.
8-9.
There's still wide receivers out there.
9 and 8.
There's still wide receivers out in the market. You got Cooper. You got Keenan Allen. Those are the bigger top names. You got Matt's boy Gabe Davis out there.
Just got cut today.
Yep.
By Jacksonville. They don't need him anymore.
Supposedly, Mitch Morse, who was the center for Jacksonville last year, came out and said that Evans played the entire year hurt, never used his excuse, kept doing what he could do. And he goes, that's the thanks you get in Jacksonville.
Oh.
I think that would be a shot to the team. What do you think?
I'd say, but at the same time, it's like they've also they've done a lot of things right, you know. It's like, you know, as far as like with the draft and the picks that they've made, and it looks like they saw that the ship was starting to sink really, really fast, and they said to themselves, we need to make some changes. And yeah, they brought some goofballs in there or whatever, but I feel like, I'll say this, I kind of like the Jaguars' overall outlook for this next season more than I do the Houston Texans in my own division. Like, I think the Texans' reign on top was short like leprechauns, and I think when it comes to the AFC South, it's a muddled mess as it is. But right now, Jacksonville's put themselves in a position where they've got a shot to rebound and be that team that could once again win the South and get themselves back into the playoff mix after a couple of rough years, to say the least. But now you've got, you know, a team that is not questioning what their wide receiver room is looking like, because you got Brian Thomas on one side, you got Travis Hunter on the other. Decent defense. They went out and drafted another running back, which is like interesting because it kind of makes you wonder about the future of Travis Etienne. You know, what happens to Tank Bigsby now? Like, does he get lost in the shuffle when it comes to that? But nonetheless, you got some talent for, you know, Trevor Lawrence to work with.
To boot up the free agent market. If I could just find that one damn tweet.
I mean, it's not pretty out there. The free agent market itself at this point, right?
Nah.
It's not.
Where the hell is it?
Names like Emmanuel Wilson and you know, not some of the prettiest names. It's not like our waiver wire the last 2 days after the rookie draft where there was still a lot of gems.
This one tweet from a Steeler. AB acting an ass got removed. Juju and Claypool became distractions, got removed. Pickett hit his sassy girl era, got removed. Deontay quit on plays, got removed. Notice a theme here?
I mean, you want to talk about a guy that's at his wit's end and his last shot. You know, let's talk about Deontay Johnson out in Cleveland right now.
Yeah.
Like, this is it. They don't get no worse, bro. They got you in the Scared Straight program, sent you out to Cleveland, Ohio, to go deal with everything that's going on out there.
Mm-hmm.
And you are potentially going to be losing out on a ton of snaps to Cedric Tillman as far as, you know, who the wide receiver 2 out there. It's Jerry Jeudy's world. And then everything else, it's crazy because there's room for growth. There's room for Deontay to be able to come back and prove like, hey, I can still go out there and do this and be a PPR machine. Deontay Dropson, whatever you want to call him. But like, I feel like I barely saw the guy on the field last year when he did get traded. We said to ourselves, ooh, this move to the Ravens could be sneaky good. But like, you can't even get yourself on the field, bro. They're not even looking at you as an option.
Can't find the list.
That's all right. You tried. Nonetheless, I mean,
yeah.
Gabe Davis is one of the big fish in a very, very small pond of free agent options at the wide receiver position in a year where the wide receiver draft itself was a bit lackluster.
Oof, this is bad. Amari Cooper, Keenan Allen, Nelson Aguilar, Odell Beckham, DJ Shark, and Tyler Boyd.
There you go.
And now the Gabe Davis.
Add him to the list of who's who. So who would you say is the best option there? Keenan Allen?
Yeah.
Cleveland rookie tight end is a dog. Oh yeah. They who's that kid they
Fanning,
drafted?
who's slow.
Fanning.
Yeah.
This guy's never gonna have anything nice to say about them. I'm interested in. I remember talking to Alexi about him a little bit. Who drafted him, by the way? Was that you, Terrell?
Yeah, that's why he's saying it.
Oh, that's why.
Come on.
I didn't know. I remember seeing his name. I don't remember exactly where he went in the draft. There was a lot of cold beverages being consumed.
57 to 48.
What, Celtics?
Yeah.
I had a feeling Boston was going to wake up for Game 2. Got a little egg on their face after losing Game 1 to the Knicks the way that they did. So, Boston, their pedigree, what they do. I knew that this was going to be a little bit of a dogfight tonight for them New York Knicks, who are riding the high of a big win in Game 1. Which, to their credit, that's what they had to do. I got a lot of Knicks friends. I was telling them, you guys want to set the tone. You guys want to create chaos.
6.
Take Game 1, bro. Take Game 1 in Boston and just create that seed of doubt. Now it looks like the series could potentially be evened up unless, Knicks rally, bro. They get that orange and blue firepower and try to take Game 2. But I don't know if that's going to happen, though. I don't think Boston's going to allow it. You re-downloading everything to the...
It won't let me. I guess my iPad's outdated.
Why wouldn't it let you do it?
I got to update.
Oh, okay. All right.
There was 2.
We are watching right now WrestleMania 9, one of the worst WrestleManias in history. It wasn't the worst.
It moved up more now that WrestleMania 11 is the worst.
WrestleMania 11 is still the worst.
You might be able to
put
WrestleMania 41 right after.
With Jonathan Taylor Thomas and Pamela Anderson on ringside. It's the absolute shits. But this is one of the worst of all time. Doink the Clown is up there. Never been a Doink the Clown guy. Never been a Crush guy.
Hill Doink was good.
I never had much time for clowns, even as a child. Didn't really, wasn't my thing, especially a clown wrestler. But nonetheless, we're here live for On the Money podcast, breaking down the big news of the day, the trade between the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Dallas Cowboys after an action-packed weekend full of basketball action, baseball action, and a very interesting rookie draft on Sunday that went down for year 2 of our Dynasty League, because right now we are in Dynasty season. This is, it's what we geared up for, what we look forward to. I felt like that draft, from the moment that we set the date for the actual draft to the draft itself, that shit just flew by. Like, those 2 months flew by. Maybe that's something that happens as you get older. Like, time itself just flies by. But it was a super exciting time. A lot of beers were consumed that day. And a lot of choices and decisions were made. And now looking back on it, we all have our teams. We're still trying to process some of the choices that we've made. And now we go from getting those players to now looking at the organizations who drafted those players and now what they are going to be doing with those players, which is going to directly affect our emotions the entirety of the NFL season. Because this is the part of the year where we make our picks, and then when the season happens, that's the part of the year where we get to look at our league mates and say, this is why I drafted this guy. I was right about this pick. This is why I was right about the choices that I made all off season leading to the regular season. This is why my team is a contender. This is why I am going to take this year off and rebuild the pieces to come back stronger for 2026. Whatever choice you choose to make, that's what makes Dynasty beautiful. You have that option. You use that strategy. You deploy that strategy. And, to the victor go the spoils at the end of the day. As long as we make this league last, man. I want this league to last like 7 or 8 years.
Yeah, this league better last after what I just did this past weekend.
I think we're better prepared. You sold out to go young. We got a lot of rookies under the helm. I stepped aside at one point in the draft in a very, very tough situation that I did not want to be a part of.
And but you happened to be in it.
I saw Tet McMillan's name sliding down the board, and I said to myself, please don't freaking do this, because I already had my heart set on a name, and I still ended up going with that name.
Which I was surprised because I was never going to pick him.
And that bothered me even more because I had
Because I remember that was the first you asked me, like, you weren't going to pick him. I was like, nah.
I'm not gonna lie. I kind of had like a blank space moment during the draft because I had forgotten that 20 minutes prior to the draft even starting, or 25 minutes prior, you and Mikey end up making a trade where Mikey trades himself out of the first round completely. So the biggest threat to me as far as taking the running back that I wanted that was sitting there, that I had to go feel like I had to reach for, I felt like was Mikey, because he was looking at running back the same way that I was. He needed a running back the same way that I did. However, he wasn't there. It was just you and me drafting at the back end. And so you take Amarion Hampton, right?
Here, I got it. I got it right here, brother.
Quinshon Judkins.
I'll tell you how the first went. Let me tell you guys how the first round went down. Because I took screenshots of it.
Of course, I'm keeping track of all the baseball games on my phone right now as we're speaking. We are connected right now on the Money Sports.
The first round went just like this. It was originally number 1 overall pick. You traded out with that mega deal for a couple first rounds a first round for each of the next couple of years, and for Derrick Henry, and in return, Terrell drafted Ashton Genty.
Yep, to the Gentlemen's Club.
Me, I always had the number 2 pick. Selected Omarion Hampton. Last Monday, before, right after, all said and done, me and Matt made a deal. I probably could have gotten more for Brian Thomas, but I coveted that 103 spot, and I also got a second round pick back for next year, which I didn't have a second round pick for next year. So I got that back.
Okay.
I for weeks was going to, as soon as I made that deal, I was going to go Tech. That was my mind the whole way, is Tech. But as we got closer and closer, and then I seen the deals that were taking place, I started saying to myself, Quinshon Judkins is there. I don't care what anybody says. Any of my constituents in this league.
Constituents.
Jerome Ford is not RB1. The Cleveland Browns are not going to run running back by committee. Quinshon Judkins is going to be used like Nick Chubb. Whether anybody wants to accept it or not, learn to deal with it, because Quinshon Judkins was picked in the second round, just like the person he's replacing, Nick Chubb, was.
Constituent.
So I said to myself, you know what? Let's do this. I'm going to pick Judkins. I made up my mind Friday afternoon that I was taking Judkins and I was trading James Cook that weekend. I just wanted to try and do what I could. I was trying to unload James Cook for the highest maximum ability. Too many people caught on to it, called me out for it, but I still got what I wanted.
I was not a fan of our negotiations for James Cook.
I still got what I wanted.
I was unsettling.
I got 2 first-round picks, and I traded away my 201 and 202. The 201 I had from you from our draft day trade a year ago.
Yes.
Where we switched spots and all that.
Yep. And
my 202 was there. So my 2 second-round picks went to Mikey plus James Cook. I was like, I'm doing it. So then I said to myself, once I made that move, that's where I'll pick my wide receiver. And I knew Quinshon Judkins was not going to be there at 7, because I knew Ohio State faithful RJ would have selected him. I know, whether RJ wants to admit it or not, Quinshon Judkins was first on his list before Trayvon Henderson.
And he had to deal with the same situation that I dealt with when he saw Tet McMillan go down the board. And I'm sure that RJ thought at one point, maybe I go Tet. He decides to go Henderson, but there was that comparison of those two players in his mind when he's coming up at the 5th
and
spot.
We all picked Bobby going Travis Hunter 4th overall. Mm-hmm. I tried to make the move with Bobby earlier in the day. My offer to Bobby was Cook for McMillan in a first round. This year's first round, next year's first round. He said no. I was like, okay. He wanted to keep his pick because he wanted to make the pick.
Yeah.
So next was RJ. He picked Trayvon Henderson, which I know he's swinging fists in the air because I know he wanted Quinshon, whether he admits it or not. Then you go out of nowhere and you picked RJ Harvey who, honest to God,
Streets.
people, Harvey was not on my radar at all.
I couldn't take the chance. I reached for him. I reached for the stars, and I got my guy.
So after
Love
that
him.
trade with Mikey, I picked the next 3 picks.
Yeah.
I picked Tet, who fell to me, Caleb Johnson, who I also made this trade for because I wanted Caleb, because I know he's going to be RB1 come next year. Hell, he might be RB1 after the second half of the year. And then I had my choice. I wanted a new tight end. I know I got Isaiah Likely to back up Sam Laporta, but I know the Bears are going to use Colston Loveland like Sam Laporta. You know why? Because who's the head coach of the Bears now, and who was offensive coordinator for Sam Laporta the first 2 years? And not to mention, Ben Johnson has come out and said that Loveland reminds him of Sam Laporta.
Oh, boy.
So you know what he's going to do.
That's all we need to hear.
Then next, you took Matt Golden.
Yep. Matt Golden at 110.
And then I had the next pick again from my trade with Alexi when I traded Bijan. And Ibuka was sitting there. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
Without it.
And then the way you say Harvey was not on your radar, Ibuka was not on mine. I was not really worried about him. I was looking at the situation with Harvey, saying to myself, is he still going to be there at 110? Is he still going to be there at 110? If I know I want him right now more than anybody else, why wait until the 110? Go grab him at 106. Worry about the 110 when the 110 comes. That's exactly what ended up happening. Matthew Golden's still sitting there. The situation out there with the wide receivers might be murky, but I like the kid's talent and what he can do. I took him at 110, and then you come around at 111. You get Ibuka, and then Netta
gets Jaden
shocks
Higgins.
Everybody and goes Jaden
And
Higgins.
it was hard because I was ready to pick Tyler Warren too. I was ready to.
You would have gone Tyler Warren at 111?
I was going to monopolize the tight end position. But I didn't.
In my world.
So then Mikey picked Cam because he had the reach for Cam there because that was the last remaining good running back, honestly, in the draft.
Scatterboo?
I mean, we can all talk about Jaden Blue, but at the end of the day, Scatterboo has got a bigger chance to have a bigger role quicker in that team.
Jaden Blue kind of falls under in the
Then he
tier
picked
right
Trey
under.
Harris, which that bothered me a little bit because I've been Trey Harris studying for weeks.
Yeah.
And Trey Harris was going to be my second round pick.
I like.
Well, I got to the first round and I said, you know what? I'll take what I got.
I like those picks for Mike.
Chris got Tyler Warren. Bobby picked Mason Taylor. You got your boy Burden. You have all 3 Chicago Bear wide receivers on your team.
I can't believe I still got him at 205. I basically passed up on Burden, only to wait and watch the second round play out, and for him to fall right in my lap at 205. And at that point, that was a no-brainer. I'll take all 3 of the wide receivers in Chicago because I've been saying it. I've been talking to Alexi about it. The rumor mill is a buzzing about a potential DJ Moore trade. So if that ends up happening off the rip, Burden, Roma Dunze become wide receiver
DJ
1
Moore
and
seems
2.
like he's been in trade talks for like a month now.
He's always a viable, interesting piece, a sweetener to a deal, if you will, when it comes to trade negotiations. And there are teams that are interested. You talked about your team being in the mix. A team that I read that was in the mix was the Buffalo Bills as far as DJ Moore. So that's going to be something interesting to monitor as far as news in the offseason.
Matt picking 2 more quarterbacks and Cam Ward and Shador Sanders.
Yeah, he ended up getting both. And he has Cam Ward in the starting spot. So it's looking like that's going to be his guy because he has a lot of quarterbacks, but he doesn't have a lot of quarterbacks that are like.
The only person not to make a pick in that draft was Nick because he traded all his picks.
Yep. Yes, he did. We'll see how that works out. He still has some. He was sending those out there to people. Just random ass 4ths and 3rds and 2nds.
Yeah, nobody wants those.
I think a lot of us got that same deal from him, that weird trade package where he sends you all the picks he has left for like a really good player that you're not going to give up for all those trash picks.
And Alex has put George Pickens on the trade block.
Oh, yeah. I saw him do that. He did that hours ago. I don't feel like his I feel like his value stays more or less the same to me. Wide receiver 2. You know,
I picked up Michael Mayer just in case.
Wide receiver 2 in an offense that is probably going to be able to produce more points than Pittsburgh because of, they got Dak. You know what I mean? Like they're going to be able to.
Good move by Terrell, picking up Danny Jones.
I picked up Danny Dimes. That was this past day. Yeah, the waiver wire has been very interesting.
I cut Zach Moss because I don't have room for Zach Moss on my team now with all my running backs.
I'm trying to tell you it was Chase Brown's backfield, and you didn't want to listen before. You told me it was going to be Zach Moss.
I thought it was because Zach had a great year the year prior with.
And now Chase Brown is the running back 11 in Dynasty, and Zach Moss isn't even rostered. See how that works? That's just the difference between being right about a guy and being wrong about a guy. However, the Zach Moss injury history the last couple of years, every season, it's just been piling up, and he hasn't been able to stay healthy, whether it was in Buffalo, whether it's, where he's at now. Like, is he still with Cincinnati, or he's not with Cincinnati anymore, right?
He's still with them. He signed a different deal.
Well, I went in the waivers, and I got the guy who I think is going to be the true RB2 to Chase Brown, and that is Taj Brooks, the rookie that Cincinnati ended up getting. I feel like this is Chase Brown's backfield. I think Chase Brown's going to get worked like a 20-plus carry running back.
Somebody on waivers, Phil Maffa.
Yeah,
running back.
It's a good pickup. I saw his name too. I'm looking now, and I got 3 bench spots there, and I'm saying to myself, I need to elevate guys from my taxi squad, so I can't go crazy picking up a bunch of guys. I need empty spots.
I have one empty spot on my bench.
It just helps to be able to move and shift and
I have 4 spots on my taxi squad.
I got no empty spots.
Well, next year's draft, I've got 2 1s, a 2, and a 4.
Okay.
I hope Alex has a very bad season next year.
And with 2 minutes and 43 seconds left, we've got an 86-82 ball game between the Boston Celtics and the New York Knicks. So Knicks not going away quietly here in game 2, and not for nothing, this would be kind of big if they were to be able to steal game 2 after potentially trailing
the
entirety of this
pressure.
game.
I'll put a lot of pressure.
They might have heard me when I went and I checked the updated score earlier and was talking shit, because right now they are down 4 points to Boston in Boston, being up 1-0 in the semifinals of the Eastern Conference playoffs. Tonight's big matchup is none other than the Denver Nuggets taking on OKC, a Denver Nuggets team who also spent most of game 1
quality start the day,
down,
baby, with a shutout.
And
let's go.
Denver ended up coming back with a crazy shot from Aaron Gordon to take game 1 from the 1 seed.
Yeah,
OKC.
how about that?
That was a good game. I was watching that at the house. So Denver up 1-0. So both the road teams taking home court away from the higher seeds. Yesterday with Indiana, with Halliburton and the shot that he did against Cleveland. That's another, like, the upsets have been like March Madness kind of
that
crazy.
Halliburton shot was crazy.
I feel like this playoffs is Tyrese Halliburton's like coming out of party. This fucking loser. I truly feel like for Tyrese Halliburton and the Indiana Pacers, we've watched them kind of mature, sort of like we have the Pistons, and we've seen it, and they get bounced early on in the playoffs, but you can see the growth is there.
I think Cleveland's about to get swept.
You think Cleveland's getting swept? I don't know about that.
All right, gentlemen, sweep.
I think Cleveland can still.
4 games to 1.
My problem with Cleveland is all of a sudden, an hour and a half before the game, all of a sudden Darius Garland's out, Evan Mobley's out. This another name got pulled out, and I'm thinking to myself, like, okay, who's left on the court for these guys? It's Donnie and Jared Allen, and I don't even know if Strus was there, but nonetheless, you can't go into battle with this young Pacers team that's at full strength.
And God, you don't have Ayuk watch again.
Oh, you guys are on Ayuk watch? Well, you need a receiver, dog. Your team is not out of the never-ending loop. You are living the same experiences over and over until you learn the lesson that needs to be learned. for the Pittsburgh Steelers. That is your fate, to relive the same day over and over. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, the Pittsburgh Steelers are on Ayuk watch.
Brad Arnold, the lead singer at Three Doors Down, has announced he has stage 4 cancer, and the band will cancel summer tour while he battles it.
Damn. Sucks.
Damn. He looks bad.
I mean, I can imagine.
I love Three Doors Down. That's the white side of me.
It's all right. Hey, man.
Kryptonite, Here Without You, When I'm Gone.
Oh, Kryptonite was a good one. Here Without You. Okay. All right. Yeah. I had to think of some names. I had to think of some songs.
Just let me go. You know.
Sometimes you get some of those names mixed up.
Here's a new report. Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin appears to be the one who initiated the George Pickens to be traded out of Pittsburgh, not owner Art Rooney or Omar Khan. What's surprising to me is from everything that I've heard, Mike Tomlin was the one that was in front of all this. It wasn't Art. It wasn't Omar. It was Mike, and the organization's decision is time to move on.
So it dates back to what you were saying about some of the things that we saw last year. The writing was on the wall, bro. This guy, we were calling him the lunatic fringe. Shit, I got rid of him in my Dynasty team.
You did.
I hate the trade and love it. What's up, Chris? What's going on, Nick? Couple of the fellas coming in a little bit late, but just on time per usual. I think that you feel the way that I figure a lot of Cowboys fans would feel, where it's like you like it because of the fact you know that your team needed it, but then there's also a part of you that's like, there's things that you're honest with yourself as a fan. There's a lot of times where our teams make a deal, and after the deal, you look at it and you say to yourself, I don't know about this. Or I don't know about this player. I don't know about what we gave up for this player. You know what I mean? I don't know if this is a long-term solution for us or just a quick fix. But at the end of the day, you have a player that's willing to go out there. He is going to be trying to go out there, prove himself, because he is playing for a contract. He knows he's playing for a contract. He saw wide receivers get paid. Hell, he saw for a couple of weeks his own teammate get traded to the Pittsburgh Steelers and paid the money that he felt as though was due to him, $33 million per year, if I'm not mistaken. So he witnessed it all go down. The wide receiver market and everybody getting the bag right in front of him and him getting nothing. And I wake up at 4 a.m., go to bed early. I like the comp pick if it don't work. And that's kind of the insurance policy to this deal, is the comp pick that you would receive in 2027, correct? 2027? That would be
it'll either be a third or a fourth, depending what he signs with.
And we don't know what the team is going to look like at that point in time, but we do know that you have a 24-year-old George Pickens, 25-year-old.
He's young.
He's young. A relatively young CeeDee Lamb.
25 or 20. I think he's 25.
The best thing about this is you don't necessarily have to drive CeeDee Lamb into the ground. You know what I mean? And him just be the only right answer as far as your offense and everybody keying in on him and then making life harder for everybody else across the board. Dak Prescott, Jake Ferguson, all the running backs, because now you're a one-dimensional football team. It adds another layer of dimension to the offense. Dak Prescott's going to get the ball downfield. That's one of the things that he can do well. And they have kind of more of a wild card aura to me than last week. Last week, I didn't have a prayer for this team.
They should be able to compete for the 6th or 7th seed.
Yeah, you should.
Because I still think the Eagles are going to break the curse this year and be the first team to win back-to-back.
You're declaring it early. You're not waiting until the summer to say that.
I mean, and I'll be the first to tell you that I wouldn't be shocked if Washington missed the playoffs.
Yeah, it could happen. It could happen, man. Let's be real. The Texans didn't look so great year 2,
They only went in the playoffs because of the South, dog.
Things change very fast in the NFL. It's a very fast league.
That's why I say the AFC South is such a wild card, because you could be shitty as hell, but next year, division. You could win it.
It's anybody's division.
You need a 9-8, 10-7 record to win that division.
Eagles aren't going back-to-back years injury-free.
That I'll say is true. That's a good point.
Let's be real. This is
it's all about the possibility of Saquon Barkley too.
That's another, Dak is the best quarterback that Pickens has had to this point, realistically. So he's going to be able to do things that Other guys, 2 gloves, just weren't capable of
I think
being
Russell
able to
Wilson catered to his needs, throwing deep balls left and right to him.
Yeah, because that's what he can do, right?
Yep.
The one-on-ones, being able to beat the coverage on one-on-ones and making some tough catches to his credit. He's got talent, bro. Like Pickens is talented. It's just
a head case.
Yeah, like it's to the point now where everything else is
like,
overshadowing that ability that you have.
He fell in the second round for a reason.
Yeah, it was always there. I hear voices in my head. They talk to me. It's all right, man. Like it's okay, bro.
He's got.
You ain't the only one, right?
He's got to prove. He's got to prove that he can be a team guy, like not have these crash outs in order to get paid. I don't see Dallas paying him. No. Dallas has other players they need to take care of.
Do you see?
I think this is it's a 1-year rental, and then then Dallas can go draft somebody to replace him next year.
I think he plays himself out of big money. I think he just is a wide receiver 2.
Wherever he goes,
puts up numbers, they're adequate, and he gets paid wide receiver 2 money, and that's it. I don't think that he does anything outside of what we've seen already from him. I don't feel like he threatens CeeDee Lamb in any way, shape, or form. Dallas won 7 games with a backup QB, 2 rookie linemen, Martin hurt, Lawrence hurt, Dobbs hurt, no run game, and you said Cowboys are winning 7 games? Wow. 12 games, 3 straight years, 1 injury year, and we suck. That's crazy. Well, I mean, your defense was really bad last year, in fairness. They were just terrible. I feel like when Quinn left the room, that defense took a hit. They stopped being special on that side of the football.
It's also the head coach. Like, this dude's never had real success in the NFL.
Yeah. That plays a part in it. You take McCarthy and get him out of the equation, and now you have this guy who doesn't really have a winning track record in the big leagues.
That's the wild card as the coach, bro.
You throw him in there with a division that had 2 teams.
Is Jerry going to look like a genius and this guy come out of nowhere and be this real good coach? Or does this guy just look like he's got a rookie head coach got to deal with this head case? I just thought about that.
19 seconds left. It's Celtics up 90-89. Knicks down by 1 with 19 seconds left in game 2 of the Eastern Conference semis. Nick, I feel like 9-8 is a fair place to put Dallas. 9-8. I'll say a ceiling of 10-7. Definitely a wild card spot. 6 seed. You know what I mean? Like, that's like all this going well. On the flip side, you could see an 8-9, maybe worse if things aren't working out. But I don't think it's going to be the offense's fault. I don't necessarily think it's going to be Pickens' fault. I think it's going to be more of head coach not putting players in positions to succeed. And can this defense, now that everybody's healthy,
has a boatload of talent around them.
I mean, now that this defense is back and healthy this year, is that defense going to be able to get back to where they were 2 years ago? And
Sirianni took that shitty ass Eagles team that first year to the playoffs.
Yeah, they lost.
They got their ass beat by the.
They went 9-7. Is that the record that first year? Twitter's going crazy over this comeback the Knicks have pulled. This must be a good game. Knicks fans, if you're watching right now, I know you must be loving what you're seeing, hoping that your team can close it out.
The Celtics were trailing 89-88, and then Tatum came with a shot. So now it's 90.
Healthy, 10 games, 7 games. I like 9-8, 10-7, like as at best. I'm not ready to declare Dallas the winners of the NFC East. I tried that last year. That didn't work out for me.
You banged the table hard.
Yeah, I like the Eagles going into this season better than Dallas. I will reserve judgment as far as Washington, but I liked them last year better than Dallas. So it's like I still like Washington now. I'm eager to see like what they look like this year, and how they add. Like, if that defense gets better, look out. That's also another team to look out for because the rumor mill is starting to buzz about a potential Brian Robinson trade, which is very interesting because they got a lot of running backs out there, not named Eckler. They got some young guys that are potentially going to be getting opportunity and they're going to be getting some run.
The Knicks, it's 90-90.
The Knicks have tied the ball game up. It must mean they're like at the free throw line.
Brunson got fouled with 12.7 left.
We were both on Washington last year. I remember us having that discussion because I was on this podcast talking about how they were going to be my dark horse for this season. I believed in it. I like their build. I like what they've done. It's tough in the NFC, though. Very, very tough in the
12
NFC.
seconds left. So what are we going to do? Keep fouling here? I can't watch the games. I don't have cable.
I'm getting the updates through DraftKings right now because I'm currently watching baseball on my phone. So DraftKings is showing me the live time.
I get where you're coming from, but right now on paper, like they're the better team in that division. So you have to show them the respect that. Do I think they're going to win as many games as they did last year?
I mean, injuries
I think 11, 12 games could win the NFC East.
Injuries could potentially hold them back the same way that they held your team back. But for now,
I don't know if they're going back to the Super
healthy.
Bowl because that's something we got to see.
It's hard to make it back that far. Something's going to happen on that side, especially on the NFC side.
It says end of regulation. Easy. I think the Knicks won.
Did the Knicks just steal game 2? Knicks fans, if you guys just stole game 2, come into the comment section.
The Knicks stunned the Celtics to take a 2-0 series lead.
What is going on? Knicks fans.
It is pandemonium.
Knicks fans got to be loving life right now because the New York Knicks are currently up 2-0 on the Boston Celtics after taking 2 in Boston. Game 3 is probably going to be like 2 days from now. Oh, group chat's going crazy. They're ready to talk about it. F the Celtics. You know, they're not one of the... Oh, I know Paul's in the comments right now. How you feeling right now down 0-2, bro?
Knicks and
I know this
6.
I know this was going to be...
Mikey, stop watching the Thunderbolts just to drop that real quick.
They're going to tell him to put his phone away if he's trying to watch the game inside the theater. They're going to think he's recording the movie. Knicks fans are loving life right now. That's a... Man, we're getting F the Celtics. No love for Boston on this podcast tonight. Paul saying Celtics in 7, doubling down as the resident Celtics fan in the area. So I like that. I'd love to watch this series go 7. Tonight felt like the Celtics had it, though. Like they had the game, they had the lead. They took control of the game.
These Knicks fans are on cloud 9 right now. You can't tell them nothing.
Can't hear you guys. Got my volume off in the theater. Bing bong.
You know what?
New York going crazy tonight.
The Knicks fans said, "Bring on the gorilla."
Oh man, they're
Knicks
ready,
fans
bro.
said, "Bring on the gorilla."
They're ready. Wow, look at that. I was completely expecting for Boston to take game 2. I feel like that's how it was going to play out.
So was I.
Take control of the series with a win tonight.
Wow.
Go back to New York, put the pressure on the Knicks to perform at home. But now, for the first time, the pressure really feels like it's on Boston now. Going to Madison Square
Garden. You're down 2 games because if the Knicks win, like,
Celtics look gassed in the 4th.
Madison Square Garden is going to be crazy.
Rocking.
What is that, Saturday?
Knicks fans in here with any bets? What's going on, Eric? We got a second in-house Celtics fan checking into the comment section. What's going on, bro? It looks like there was a very, very interesting game that just went down with the Knicks stealing game 2 in Boston. We're taking it back to Madison Square. It is going to be live in New York for that game. This is the closest the Knicks have been to the Eastern Conference Finals in a very
since I was in high school.
Long time.
Right? The 90s?
Yeah, so we need to take a minute to
since I was in high school. Guys, I turned 42 in 2 weeks.
Just breathe it in,
think about
man.
that.
We in here with dubs, baby. Knicks 2, Boston 0. Looks like Eric's trying to make a wager that Boston still manages to win the series. Yeah, Steph Curry's out. So Golden State's going to need Buddy Hield to play like he did in game 1 every game. And for Jimmy Butler. The Butler-Hield connection needs to be super strong again for game 2 if they want any shot. Because right now, this is where the Timberwolves can kind of take the series. And if you're the Knicks right now, you don't let your foot off the gas pedal. This is where you cut the head off the snake. You go into Madison Square Garden and you take these guys out and
Saturday
you take
night,
a 3-0 lead.
Saturday at 3:30 ABC.
Woo!
Boston versus New York.
Woo-hoo, baby. Get your popcorn ready. Because we got a movie playing out on the Eastern Conference.
And then on Friday, it's the Cavs in Indiana.
Eric says 4 straight on the way. So the New York, Boston taking over the comment section right now. Fresh off of a tough game 2. But you didn't have us taking the first 2 games, I bet.
Yeah. No, you could say 2 games. Now, these 2 wins just changed the trajectory of that series. Man.
These are big. We can't downplay these victories here. We're not going to do that. This is a big deal. I didn't expect the Knicks to be up 2-0. I didn't expect it. Not me. At best, 1-1. At best. And I said it.
You did.
Mikey knows it. Chris knows it. You guys got to take game 1. I was saying it. Now you did. Not only did you do that, you stole game 2. Sky's the limit. This is the closest you guys have been to the Eastern Conference Finals in years. You can't let up now. If you go up 0-2 and blow it now, that's disgusting. We've all been on that side of the game, and right now you guys are on the right side of history so far. So we'll see. I only gave them 2 games. That's it. All right, so Eric has Boston winning 4 straight. You heard it here live. He's got the Celtics going for a reverse sweep and taking the next 4. I don't know about that, bro. To take 4 in a row, it starts with game 3 Saturday night. Boston takes game 3 Saturday night in New York. Then,
wow.
Okay, it dampens the mood slightly because, it's not just about the win. It's about the how you win. If they go out there.
Come from behind victories, too. 2 days in a row.
Yeah. Yes.
I can't wait to see old man George tomorrow.
Celtics fan?
No, he's just an overall basketball fan.
Okay. So he's seen a lot.
He's enjoying this. And, he's 74 years old. And he just talks to me all the time about basketball. He loves basketball. And he was telling me, he goes, yeah, I don't think they're going to – I think the Celtics win tonight. He goes, because, sometimes you're well-rested. You lose that game. You're off your edge. I can't wait. Bro, they were up by 20 in the third quarter.
Knicks fans
This is the second
shit. I love it.
is the second game in a row that they were up by 20+ and blew it.
Yeah, that's not
like when you picked money line the other day, you were like, this is gross.
The fact that the Knicks kept themselves for the most part in that game 1, it made me feel really good about Knicks money line. I should have taken it again tonight. I almost took Knicks plus 10.5 because it was just staring at
34-14 fourth quarter for the Knicks.
Woo! Yeah, that's nasty work, dog. To win by 1 point, that's nasty work, man. That's a collapse right there. That ain't a good look. Philly's putting belts to ass at least. Yeah, Philly's
they are
good tonight against the Rays. So that's one good thing going for you. But that was a catastrophic collapse of epic proportions.
Oh shit!
In game 2 by
Dak Prescott in the last
Celtics.
2 years, number 1 with most passing yards on 15+ yard go routes, and he has the second most attempts on those same type of plays. George Pickens the last 2 years, number 1 in receiving yards on 15+ yards go routes, and the second most catches on those routes.
You know what? I hope it works out for them. I really do.
It could be the difference of finishing in third or even finishing in first.
I hope that it works out for them. I know Nick had mentioned something about the Cowboys. His comment got lost in the banter between the Celtics and the Knicks fans. Because
I gotta love
Knicks
reading
just stole
this.
game 2. Let's put some money on the series then.
Pathetic ass Steelers.
Down to
fans.
put money on the series, down 0-2. That's very, very spicy. I like that. I do my gambling on DraftKings, big dog. Oh, boy.
I'm just checking to see if
That's I'm impressed, man. Because this is around the time, even before this, is around the time when the Knicks just vanish. But they're still here, and they're fighting, and they're going up against, the big dog in the East of the Boston Celtics, a team that the Knicks have lived in their shadow the same way the Sixers have lived in their shadow. Like, it's been tough for both those franchises watching the greatness of, Boston and everything that they've accomplished in the last 40 years. Scared, I guess. Eric always loves to double down.
Yes, he does.
Yeah. He's not one to admit. He's not one to be like, I was wrong about this team.
Nah, never.
But it's his team,
He reminds me
me personally, my team blows a 20-point lead. I'm not trying to bet on them for that next game. I'll fade them for the next game because I got to see something. But the series ain't over though. Series ain't over by a long shot. That's gloves. That's 2 gloves.
Yeah, and then that's Flacco.
He don't need no stinking gloves. He wants to feel the football. That's why he's making the better throws. Oh boy, none of us had this on our card. Oh, Grisham hit another home run.
I did not have this on my card at all.
Trent Grisham hits bombs, and the Yankees have just tied up the game with the Padres 3-3. I'm watching baseball on my phone, tracking everything. Blew 2 20-point leads. Jesus. That's rough, man. Psychologically, what does that do to a team like that? Team with a championship pedigree on top of that, where you've got a team that you just can't put the Knicks away right now. You can't put them away,
bro.
And now, if you're the Knicks on the flip side, it's like, yeah, we're down 15, so what? Just keep playing the game, keep pushing, keep putting the pressure on these guys, and eventually we're going to be able to trim that lead, and not only trim the lead, but overtake the lead and end up taking the game like they just did tonight. We're giving the Knicks their flowers tonight, man, because I give them a lot of shit on this podcast. My Rockets ain't in it no more, but the Knicks are. They're still fighting. And a credit to them for doing something I didn't think they'd be able to do. We're listening to Skip Bayless's reaction to the Pickens trade. He keeps saying the word plunged. Seems to be very happy. He's loving the George Pickens deal. He's a happy Cowboys fan. He sounds like he feels better about it than Nick does right now.
Yeah, he does.
Skip is all about it.
Skip looks like he's back in.
But again, when you have been through what the Dallas Cowboys fans have been through for the last couple of years, this is a piece of good news after so much bad things have happened, where it's like we have another option. You know what I mean? Like, it's all perspective based. Us non-Cowboys fans are looking at it from the perspective of what you're receiving with George Pickens, the talent plus the man, and what that means for the Dallas Cowboys and what we think is best for them. For Cowboys fans, there's mixed reactions. They're looking at Pickens, but they're also looking at their team and looking at what they've had to deal with and what they've been through. And, a lot of Cowboys fans are happy about the move. Yeah. What did it cost you? A 3rd round pick? I mean, come on. It's not bad, man. If my team, look, shit, at this point, I guess I would have been okay.
I told Aiden today, no more. I'm not buying him any more jerseys with current players. Because that's now Le'Veon Bell, Antonio Brown, Juju, Derek Bush, Najee, and
is there a curse? Is there a curse to every time you get him a jersey?
Every jersey he has, none of them are there anymore.
He still has all the jerseys hanging up?
Yeah. They're in his room on the closet.
Just a lineup of what could have been, I should say. Oh, man. I love to see it. The banter back and forth. No, I think Celtics fans are a little annoyed.
Every once in a while, trash can. Yeah, they are.
I think Celtics fans are a little
Not a
annoyed
single
with what
Celtics.
happened.
I don't care any Celtics fan here in this chat, in this group, in this forum that follows us is happy at all with what just took place. And you can say, "Oh, I expected the Knicks to win 2 games. You didn't expect them to win these 2." The difference is now this changes the complexion of the series. No matter what, now this series, even if the Celtics win, this series is at least going to go 5 maximum.
Yeah.
At minimum 6 now.
Well, no, yeah, yeah. Well, minimum 4 if the Celtics get swept. But I don't think that's going to happen. But I didn't think tonight was going to happen either, though. But regardless, there's no way you can feel good about losing by 1 point, and also not just losing by 1 point, but losing 2 20-point leads on 2 separate occasions. And now
it starts to do this up here.
On the flip side of it,
now it's a mental thing, because now what happens when you have a 20-point game lead again?
Now you're up 2-0 going back home to New York, and you're saying to yourself, they can't put us away. We need to put them away. We need to put them away, and now it's like you have to have that killer instinct. Now, if you're Jalen Brunson, you need to have that signature game 3. And on the flip side, if you're Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown, need to have that signature game 3 that can get your team.
Put me in the gorilla in a Civic with locked doors, and I'm walking out alone in the end.
Listen, it's
these Knicks fans are on cloud 9.
It's a big difference being 2-1 and being 3-0. Like, it's a massive shift as far as the playoffs and a playoff series for a team to take game 3 after being down 2-0 and take some of that momentum back and take some of that momentum. And it's all about not just taking it, but taking it and carrying it into the following game, game 4. What can I take from game 3 into game 4?
If the Knicks win game 3, the series is over. I hate to break it to you.
Damn. Harrison Bader just hit a home run. I got him on the bench.
If the Knicks win this Saturday night, the series is over. Boston is not winning 4 in a row.
Oh, yeah, it's over. That shit's over.
So,
no way.
In order for Boston to extend this series and to have a chance, they have to. It is mandatory. You know how we talk about football season sometimes? It's like week 3, and we're like, yo, is this a must-win already? Yes. Well, it's a must-win this Saturday if you think you have a shot to repeat as champion.
It happens fast. And you may not see it as potentially a must-win for the Knicks, but you don't want to give the Boston Celtics life because you know what they can do with that. Like, you want to at least put the pedal to the metal, and hey, if you lose a close one, at least the Celtics know each and every night the Knicks are giving them everything, throwing the kitchen sink at them, just to be able to, if you beat us, you are going to have to give us everything you've got on this court. Paul, resident Celtics fan, already mentioned the fact that the Celtics look gassed in the 4th quarter. I mean, we talked about Thibodeau's strategy with the Knicks all season long, playing them the amount of minutes that he plays them. And now, here we are in the playoffs. They're playing that same amount of minutes, and they might not feel as gassed because they're already used to the gauntlet and the Iron Man.
On top of that, the Celtics may be tired too.
Yeah.
Think about this. The Celtics have made the finals the last 2 seasons, if I'm correct.
It's a lot of basketball.
They lost to... Or did they? No. Who did the Nuggets beat?
Nuggets. I don't know. Celtics beat the Mavericks. I forgot who the Nuggets beat. Who did the Nuggets beat? Anybody remember? NBA is just...
Yeah. We don't like to remember their stuff.
I mean, I know the Nuggets won their championship, but I know the Celtics beat the Luka Mavs. And then everything else is just a faded memory at this point. Agonizing the fact that I just left a home run on the bench with Harrison Bader.
The Heat. They beat the Heat.
Oh, that's right. Miami snuck in there.
All right, so I can't use the tired excuse for them. I mean, they were just in the finals last year, and that's it. It's not like they were in the finals 2-3 seasons in a row, and then it catches up because your off season is very short.
It's a lot of basketball there.
So
a lot of basketball. damn, I wouldn't even imagine the Cavs doing this to Boston, being up 2-0 on them. Like
a narcissist.
Cavs got their own problems. Indiana right now, so this shit's looking interesting right now, bro. The favorites don't feel like favorites at the moment, and that makes tonight's game, which has already commenced between the Nuggets and OKC, all the more interesting because we've talked about how for the second year in a row, OKC looks like, the best in the West, but can we trust OKC to get by the Nuggets of the world and the Timberwolves? How are they going to match up with some of the teams that are battle tested and are also trying to cement themselves and continue to write their story? A Nuggets team that they fired their coach like a week and a half before the playoffs even started. Like, it's pretty wild when you think about where we are right now with this Elite Eight group that we have as we sit and watch the narcissist on our TV here with WrestleMania 9 still going on.
What a great gimmick.
It fit him so well.
Yep.
You don't have
it's
to think too hard
basically
with some of these characters.
No matter what anybody says, the narcissist is basically the total package.
Yeah,
just the WWE,
of the
just
person.
the WWF version. That's it.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, that pretty much sums up the action for tonight. Good shit by the Knicks. Good shit for the Cowboys being able to get themselves another pass catching option. Good shit to the Kingpins Dynasty League for a successful, rookie draft this past Sunday. Going to be interesting to see how that storyline plays out as we get closer to the NFL season, as we get closer to training camp, where we start to get the training camp battles and the news and which rookies are adjusting better than others. And
mandatory mini camps are next month.
Mandatory mini
Your
camps
OTAs are taking place this month.
Schedule drops May 14th.
Yep, next Wednesday. We'll be live on the podcast.
Oh, that's perfect.
Schedule drops next Wednesday at 8 o'clock.
Okay, so when we go live, the schedule will be dropping. So
we'll be talking about, we're not going to be breaking schedules down, but we're going to talk about what are the most interesting matchups of the year and basically how interesting they are because of where and what weeks they take place.
Yeah. And that's based on us assuming we know what some of these football teams are going to do, because a lot of times the deeper we get into this season, the less we take from last season into this year. We're going off of last year. We're going off of what we saw. We're going off of how these seasons ended and what we last remember from some of these teams. So, NFL Network is going to be on it all day long, giving us like the marquee matchup. So we're already going to have something to work with, but it's just going to be cool. The fact that when we go live, they'll have already had all that stuff dropped. You guys are going to be ready to talk football, and so are we. And we're going to be able to, take a look at maybe some week one. Just take a gander at what to expect on the opening weekend of the NFL
What a
season.
Loaded roster. And they gave us this event.
It could have been a lot better. Don't worry. I'm working on it. I got something.
It's going to be great next Wednesday. I can't wait. This is when
a lot of fun.
This is when a lot of us start to plan our trips.
Yeah.
Where we're going, what week we're going back to our employer's town. Yeah, I'm not going to be here these next couple days.
Yeah, my uncle, shout out to Kaz out in Texas right now. He, myself, and Heather are going to be going to the link for an Eagles game once we get the schedule for Philly.
Play the Titans?
No, we're just gonna. He wants to go when he comes back out here. He wants to go to an Eagles game, so we're gonna do that. You know what I mean? We got that marked off. We didn't get to do that last time he came out here. He came out in the summertime. It was just about to be football season, so we were, as football fans, eager to talk about it, break it down. Now he's going to be coming out here when the weather's a little bit better, and maybe September, October, catch a game out in the link when the weather's nice.
Nice.
So pinpoint a good matchup. Maybe we get a rivalry game. Maybe we go out there when they play the G-men and we have a little bit of fun, man.
Oh, he's messing my ERA up.
But, yeah, that pretty much wraps it up for tonight.
Me and Heather are tied.
Next week, you're not playing Heather. You're playing Terrell.
Right. That's what I'm playing?
It's Muddy Waters. Heather's Bowmanatrix.
You're right.
That's Muddy Waters.
It's because she had, didn't she have the P? No.
She switched it up. Yeah, she
had the P too, though,
yeah,
right?
she switches the logo up each week, or she tries to at least.
I know. Finding Nemo.
Depending on the matchup.
Finding Nemo.
Finding Nemo.
At least only lost by 2 this week.
Yeah. Wasn't that bad. But, yeah, man. Thank you for everybody tuning in. A lot of fun watching the banter back and forth between the Knicks and Celtics after a great
This
win
time
for the New
next
York
week,
Knicks.
Could the Knicks have swept the series or be up 3 games to 1?
Gross. We will find out. Stay tuned to On the Money podcast. Same time, same place next week with the NFL schedule release.
That's going to be a great episode, and I